Hi, welcome back. It's June the 1st. I've just come over to Scrumpy Cottage. Everything's in good order, everything's exactly as I've left it. It's been raining for a couple of days and I'm hoping that the beds are dry enough for me to work. One of the first things I learned when I started growing veg was how to test whether the soil was too wet or not. And it was my girlfriend's father that said if you kick it and it sticks to your boot, it's too wet to work with. So simple test. There you go. We've kicked it. It's not stuck to my boot, and it's dry enough to go. So I'm going to throw some Swiss chard in here, some leaf beet, as it's otherwise called. And in this next bed, I'm going to do the first sowing of dwarf French beans. Now, the reason we don't work the soil when it's wet is because, first of all, it will damage the soil structure, and you don't want that because you want to maintain the fertility and the life in the soil as much as possible. But secondly, if you work a bed down like this when it's wet, after a few days of hot sun, it will bake, cake and crack. There will be a hard crust form on the top layer, and the seeds won't grow through it, and the cracks in the soil will create a haven for ants, worker ants and aphids. So you really don't want that either. So I'm just going to make 3 drills here. It's going to be 6 inches from each edge and 1 in the center. This is for Swiss chard. So leaf beet, rhubarb chard, Swiss chard, whatever you want to call it. These are what the seeds look like. Same as the beetroot, little clusters of 2 to 4 seeds. I didn't buy that many seeds. I normally sow them quite thickly and thin them out as I do the lettuce and have them as baby leaves in the lettuce bags. But what I'm going to do is probably sow 1 seed sort of every 2 inches across the bed. Still thin them out, but not as much as I wanted to. And so they'll end up about a foot apart each plant, and I will keep cropping them. I'll just take the outside leaves and keep cropping them right the way through the season. I will do another sowing perhaps in July as well, but you can sow these from March to August, and they'll stay in the ground until the frosts take them out, or they go to seed. I did have enough seeds to actually sow them quite thickly, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in about a 5-6 inch gap, so probably about every inch. That's going to allow me to thin them out nicely as babies and put them in my lettuce bags. So that'll look rather nice and taste rather good as well. And like I say, you thin them out until they're about 12 inches apart and they'll grow into mature plants. I'm just going to go and with the hoe gently pull the soil over them, and that'll be that, and we'll move on to the dwarf French beans.